It's time for the second round of the McLaren Trophy America season and the second race of the weekend here at Sonoma Raceway in Northern California. Thanks so much for joining us here as part of a packed SRO America weekend in the beautiful Sunshine State. I'm Jonathan Grace. Tom Baker will join me in the commentary booth, and Amanda Busick will be with us down on pit lane to take you through today's show. It was RWE Motorsports who won the day yesterday. We'll get to race one in just a moment, but now we have gorgeous pictures of the beautiful racing circuit that we're at this weekend, as we've been accustomed to starting the season at Sonoma Raceway. Just 64.5 degrees Fahrenheit ambient track temperature, a beautiful 75.2. That should be ideal for tire grip here for the Pirellis. That will be hard at work. 63 degrees humidity. It is absolutely gorgeous as we see John Capestro-Dubetz suiting up and getting ready to take his McLaren Artura Trophy Evo to battle here today for the second time this weekend. He was the fastest man on track during his stint just one day ago. This beautiful racing circuit in Sonoma, 2.52 miles long. It is a stunning 1,600-acre circuit, 12 ruling turns that's set up for what's one of the busiest laps of racing that the drivers will face all season. Tons of elevation, 160 feet of it to be exact. The lowest point of the circuit, turn 10, you climb 160 feet, just about 15, 16 stories, all the way up to turn 3A at the top of the hill. We have undulations, we have quick direction changes, we have a bunch of short little straightaways. Passing opportunities come at a premium, and we saw that during yesterday's race one as well. Three great sectors to take us through this beautiful racetrack, and it provided a challenge for the drivers yesterday. The third member of our broadcast team, Amanda Busick, has found some of the other drivers on the grid, and she's down with them now.
And it was quite the day for Lightning McLaren out here, driven by James Lee and Sam Nesser. What exactly happened, James?
Well, so the beginning of our race was going pretty solid, I want to say, pace-wise and starting position-wise. However, towards the tail end of the race, I want to say, like, last 6 minutes, we just had a bit of a calamity, as you would say, and had to bring it back into the pits and ultimately retire the car. But the team worked really hard. They were here till about 2, 3 in the morning last night, and then back again at 6, and we're ready to give her another go.
Sam, get strapped in there. Yeah, you showed me the right rear of that McLaren and all the work that was done, and so complimentary of the team. A chance to salvage the weekend here today. Got to move forward there. What's the plan?
Plan is I think there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on after pit stops and all that when I get in the car, so I'll just see where we land and then go from there.
Good luck. One of my favorite liveries out here, guys.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, it's hard to beat the Raceworks livery. They've done such a good job paying tribute to the Cars movie. Just a group of guys that started as track day friends last year. James Lee decided to buy a race car and go racing. Simple as that. Of course, there's a lot more to it, both financial and otherwise. But so great to see that these guys just have such a good time at the racetrack. They've expanded that program as well. They've brought in Tommy Pintos, who found success with them in this car, the number 11, just one day ago. A Spaniard with a ton of talent that came over after competing in this series over in Europe. Amanda Busick has been hard at work. She's found a very special VIP, and she's once again down on the grid.
Giorgio Sana at the head of this grid to kick off race number 2 here in Sonoma as we get set for a beautiful day of racing ahead. You get to be at the front of this grid with all these McLarens. What's your view like?
It's a fantastic grid. Yesterday we saw a thrilling race until the end. I expect the same also today. We have a very good mix of young talent drivers with very good gentleman drivers, so it looks very good.
I would say it was a very exciting end. It was a green right checker to the finish, and we saw a lot of the drivers, the McLaren drivers, celebrating right in front of that hospitality space that you guys have here. How much of a celebration weekend is this for McLaren?
That's an important platform for us. The trophy is the base of our customer racing platform. So we are looking to grow, starting from the next race also in Miami, where we expect more than 20 cars. So that's the right way to go, offering to all these guys the opportunity to jump into a GT3 in the future.
All right, guys, we're getting pushed off this grid as we get set for race number 2. It is the second season for McLaren in the SRO paddock as we get set for race day.
Thanks, Amanda. Great to hear from Giorgio Sana, recently appointed the head of motorsports for McLaren Automotive. Has grand plans for this series, has grand plans for this car, and also for some of the other cars that we will see from the GT4 to the GT3 ranks. We saw him reference the ladder system that McLaren has started to develop here. This series, such a pivotal point in this. It's a challenge for some of the gentleman drivers, the amateurs. It's an equal challenge for some of the young guns in hot shoes trying to cut their teeth in professional motorsport. And this machine, we'll talk about it more in specifics later when we get Tom Baker in the booth to join us, but it's one heck of a machine to drive. It's a heck of a challenge, produces a lot of power, and you can hear that power roar to life as these McLaren Artura Trophy Evos fire up and hit the start button. We're almost getting ready to go green in just a moment here. You can see the stickers on the back, that AM tag, one of 3 classes that we will have here in McLaren Trophy America. The Pro class with a couple of cars, the AM class with a healthy showing as well, led by none other than Cooper Broll, who got the job done solo just one day ago. We have 4 very strong Pro-Am competitors as well. Right on cue, just sitting down and putting the headset on now, is Tom Baker from McLaren. Always great to have you in the booth as well. Just one day ago, we did this. Let's have some fun and do it again, shall we?
Absolutely, yes. Yesterday's race was fantastic. So much action, didn't know where to look. So fingers crossed, more of the same today.
Amanda was just catching up with Giorgio Sana. I know he has grand plans for using this series as a hotbed to really sort out and help McLaren pick some of the young talent that might feed up to some of the bigger cars that we could see later on. Just speak to that and the ladder system and where this series fits into that.
Yeah, so it's now become a feeder element to the factory driver program. So we have the McLaren Trophy Academy. So we will actually be choosing a couple of people from today's grid that sort of fit the criteria of 25, 26 years old and silver ranked drivers.
Let's talk about that grid because it's Tommy Pintos who starts on pole in his Pro-Am machine. Kevin Manson is alongside him for RP Motorsports. Just behind your pole sitter in the AM class is Jeff Cook for GMG. He was mighty fast. And Patrick Liddy, your Pro class pole sitter, class win yesterday alongside Tanner Harvey. JCD starts in 5th. That's Oliver Webb. He's mighty quick for Greystone in 6th. 7th is Sam Nesser in the Lightning McLaren, the 74 with Cooper Broll. The solo AM class effort for Forte just behind. 9th is Johnny O with the Flying Lizard machine. Scott Sorborough for OMS is 10th. Fabio Greco behind fellow OMS driver in 11th. And in 12th place, Colin Harrison in his Tech Sport Racing machine. Look for him to carve through the grid. Alex Pollard is 13th with Cayeteo in the 14 Racing entry. The number 8, she starts in 14th. 15th is Steven Sorborough. 16th, Michael Steves. A really healthy grid, a lot of variety. A lot of teams have expanded this year. And I think a couple folks, Tom, that we might see charge through the field throughout the course of this race.
Absolutely. The fun part of this second race is that the second driver starts, and for the Pro-Am lineup, that means the Pro driver's in. So we could see some fireworks as people like Ollie Webb, Tommy Pintos, JCD, Patrick Liddy come through the field. So it's going to be hopefully fireworks from the start.
Well, I think fireworks have actually started already. A note coming in from race control that car number 8, that's Cayeteo, must drop to the tail of the field. Presumably some kind of issue on the formation lap as we see them bunch up 2 by 2. We're getting ready to take the start. That gorgeous 750S Papaya Orange McLaren safety car. Lights are out. It's Tommy Pintos and Kevin Madsen who share the front row of the grid. 2 Pro-Am cars just behind Jeff Cook in the AM class pole sitting GMG machine. Patrick Liddy, your Pro class pro sitter, easily identifiable in that beautiful bright blue livery. They around turn 11, get ready for turn 12 as they fire on to the main straightaway in just a few moments time, Tom. We had excitement, we had fireworks in race 1. We're all set for race 2 as they hit the acceleration zone and they go green. Tommy Pintos immediately on the loud pedal, on the push to pass, and he's got the jump over Kevin Madsen. They file in single file as they round the hill up towards turn 1 and that tricky turns 2, 3, 3A section. Patrick Liddy hanging on the outside, multiple cars going too wide. Cayeteo asked to drop back to the rear of the field. She's made up positions early on and already on the attack are a couple drivers early back. The 22 has been on the move too.
Yeah, Patrick was on the outside there of turn 2 and lost out a little bit, so JCD has come past into 5th, and Ollie Webb is fancying his chances as well of taking 6th, but he's dropped back.
Yeah, Patrick Liddy will be looking to make up ground. We know how quick he is from his stint yesterday as well, but we've got plenty of hot shoes. Sam Nesser knows what he's doing. He's in the other Pro Class RWE Motorsports car behind. Johnny O sits 8th in the 29, but it's the 22, Ollie Webb. He's on the charge. Look at all the cars flashing the headlights. They're trying to make early ground. in the first couple of laps. Cooper Broll trying to make some progress as well. He had a great showing yesterday in the AM class.
He did, yeah. Another race victory for Cooper, and he's feeling confident and happy to be here, so he's looking forward to another good race.
Part of this expanded Forte effort, Jeff Cook leads the charge in AM. You can see the body language of the car as they come down through the S's, single file. Nobody in the front 6 or 7 going wheel to wheel, door to door, but they are absolutely nose to tail. It's Tommy Pintos who leads, but we ride on board now. And look at all the data we have from Jeff Cook, who leads in the AM class. We have throttle trace, we have brake trace, we have push to pass. You can already see using some of that 300-second allocation. You get 300 seconds, but you get no more, Tom.
Exactly, so you've got to be strategic. You've either got to use it on attack or defense, and you've got to leave someone for, some left at the end of the race for your teammate as well. So it's a lot of brinksmanship going on.
Still early days, but Jeff Cook has the fastest second sector of this lap. Fastest third and final sector belongs to Kevin Madsen. You can hear on the Mike's trackside the Pirelli tires squealing underneath these drivers. They put 577 horsepower at least to work. And then when you put the push to pass, that improves that even more. But improving his lead at the head of the field is the number 11. Tommy Pintos has 47 minutes and some change to contend with, although he won't be driving for all of that because he'll be switching over to his teammate in just a few laps time. The cars trail through. Pintos leads Madsen, leads the AM class leader in Jeff Cook. John Capestre-Dubet's a great start for him in the 7, has brought that car up to 4th. Patrick Liddy falls to 5th, trying to make up ground, but still crucially leading in the pro class, and he's got Oliver Webb between them, but Ollie will be looking to make up a position as well. Look at him all over the back of the Forte driver.
Yeah, exactly, and the pro drivers have always got a bit of a balance here because they want to race, but they also need to leave tyre life and push to pass for their AM drivers who arguably could need it more. So, yeah, they've got to be careful, but Ollie is a rapid driver, and as we said yesterday, this is his 148th circuit to drive on, so he's used to racing all over the place. Let's see what he can do coming through.
We know from some of his efforts in Europe how quick he can be. He's got plenty of lineage as well with Greystone. Here's a great look at the 7 car, John Capestre-Dubets, who's done a great job early in this race. We saw him in the second half of yesterday's race. He was the fastest man of anybody on track, Tom. When he puts his foot to the floor, he's really, really hard to catch. He's already pulled a little bit of a gap over the pro class leader in Patrick Liddy. Liddy will be trying to make up positions, started the grid on the pro class pole, but as you said, lost out a couple of positions to Jeff Cook and JCD as he tried to hang it around the outside. Tommy Pintos leads this field, but Kevin Madsen has not really let him get any breathing room. Just 1.1 seconds is the gap to the leader in front. We go back now on board with Jeff Cook. He sits in the 3rd position, and this battle is hotting up. Not for class position, but it is absolutely for overall and podium position.
Exactly, as you said, Jeff set the fastest lap last lap round and was 0.6 faster than Kevin in front of him. So this could be a case of any minute now. There could be a move. We'll have to wait and see.
Look at Cook fighting the corner down through 6 and 6A. There's an elevation change. There's a huge direction change. The car is unloaded. You slam the brakes into 7, go wide and pitch the car in. Wait, then dip the nose down into 7A because that sets up a crucial run down the S's into 8 and 8A. And you can see him hanging all over the back of Kevin Madsen. The gap last time by through the timing loop was 1.4 seconds off the lead, but he is just 0.2 of a second behind Madsen, and he is pushing that beautiful white striped McLaren through the chicane, but it's John Capestre-Dubets who's trying to get in on the action just behind 2.
That sequence of corners seemed to be Jeff's party trick yesterday, didn't it? Through 7 and 7A, he'd hanging out wide and then cut in a late apex and line the car up for a manoeuvre into the chicane further down. So let's see if he tries to do that with Kevin this time.
We'll see as they make the little kink in turn 12. A little bit of separation. You can see just some hunting going on. Jeff Cook trying to find a way past Kevin Madsen. All the while, this is allowing Tommy Pintos to scamper away. And look it up through the first sequence of corners. John Capestre-Dubets has climbed right on to the tail end of this battle. It's 3 different class cars, but they are fighting for the 3rd and final position on the road, and even the 2nd position on the road, held currently by the relapsing Polychondritis Motorsport by Forte Racing car of Kevin Madsen in the 53. You could throw a blanket over the 3 of them as they head back down the hill. There's turn 5. They like the quick change of direction. And look at the elevation change. We mentioned 3A, the highest point of this track, as they make the descent down the hill, swooping to the left. Back on board with Cook as he chases Madsen in the 53. And that's a great run, Tom. Is he going to think about it? Is he going to get brave on the brakes? Fades to the inside. Madsen, does he go defensive? No. There's the move. Late on the brakes for Jeff Cook. Pitches the nose in. Did he go too far? I think he's made the move stick. Jeff Cook up into second.
Well, he's just done that to prove me wrong, isn't he?
He has.
He's done that well. That was a nicely timed move and well executed. So kudos to Jeff. Now he runs second overall. That's impressive.
He must be listening to the commentary in the car. Now I'm curious to see his pace and look at JCD flashing the lights behind him, the universal "get the heck out of my way" sign, which he might think about doing because the cork in the bottle in Kevin Madsen at the moment is now bringing Patrick Liddy back into this equation. And does he smell blood in the water? Jeff Cook now sets off in pursuit of the race leader in Tommy Pintos. But just behind, JCD is hungry and he wants a bite of the 53 as well. Of course, it's no risk banging mirrors and folding in mirrors and causing any bodywork damage because these cars are not fighting each other in class. They're only fighting each other for bragging rights on the road. You have to be cognizant of that, but it's hard to tell a racing driver to take it easy and yield position when they've got the visor down and the red mist going, and Kevin Madsen will absolutely want to hang on to an overall podium. He's also running second currently in the Papaya Cup. More on that class structure in just a moment because we are hands full with an excellent battle here. JCD trying to bring that GMG car to the fore.
Well said, but bear in mind this is McLaren racing. We don't bang doors here.
Oh,
very respectful.
Well, it's been respectful so far, and I commend the drivers for that. We saw a pretty clean race, all things considered, yesterday, and that was really nice to see. I'm sure the race officials and race control will like that as well. But here's the gap now. Jeff Cook already scampering away just a little bit. Kevin Madsen out of Newport Beach, California. 2026 here, doing a really nice job for this relapsing polychondritis motorsports by Forte entry.
This battle seems to have settled a little bit now. They've got a little bit of a gap there, but just wait for the next person to make a move. I did notice while we were looking at the Jeff Cook maneuver on Kevin that Ollie Webb is closing in on Patrick Liddy behind, so we have almost got a 4-car group here for third place overall.
That's a great point, Tom. That gap, eagle-eyed, down to just 0.6 of a second. So Patrick Liddy, I presume, trying to preserve a little bit of push to pass for his teammate Tanner Harvey, who's mighty quick in his own right later on. But Patrick, we saw him carve his way through the field and up to the fore to secure a pro-class victory. Right now, he's still got Ollie Webb between him and fellow pro-class competitor Sam Nesser just a little bit further back in the Lightning McLaren. But Nesser is on the button as well. Here's the battle, 7 on 53. Kevin Madsen playing defensive, a different line for John Capestro-Dubets. One of the beautiful things with these cars is how you can explore some of the different lines around this track. It's difficult to overtake around Sonoma, but there are a lot of places you can be sneaky. Jeff Cook, though, scampering away. He's not quite caught Tommy Pintos just yet, but he's just about 1.5 seconds off the lead. He'll hand that car over to Dennis Thielman in the second stint. We'll see that pit window open up in a few minutes' time, but before that, Cook would like to improve to one more position and hand that race car over, not only the AM-Class lead where he sits right now, but the overall lead of this race as well. Meanwhile, Kevin Madsen on the push to pass just behind John Capestro-Dubets, matching him there as they go into 7 and 7A. JCD just a little bit wide. Watching him set up for 7A and try to get a better launch as he hits the loud pedal down the hill. I think he might have just overcooked that a little bit. Kevin Madsen continues to go to work. Not Kevin Madsen's only SRO competition this year. He did battle on the mountain and won in the GT4 class in the 12 Hours of Bathurst to open up the Intercontinental GT Challenge Championship season just a couple months ago, and what excitement it is to make a trip to Mount Panorama. But here, lots of elevation in Sonoma, mirroring that in many ways. But Patrick Liddy now has his hands full with Ollie Webb behind. Again, 2 different class cars. The 22 for Greystone GT is coming. If you're Patrick Liddy right now, how are you managing that push to pass versus leaving enough for your teammate later on, Tom?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I'm not sure what the answer is. I mean, they're not fighting for class positions here. This is just for overall honour, really. But Ollie really has closed up that gap. So this is, they're obviously going to go racing, aren't they? They're not going to hang back and go, well, this is no battle. But Ollie needs to get past Patrick in order to get at JCD and Kevin to put them in a podium position, potential of a podium position for the second half of the race. So whilst he is racing for pride, it's a bigger picture at the end of it.
Crucial to note, however this battle develops, Patrick Liddy will maintain the lead of that pro class as it stands. But here's your overall race leader as we saw him take the checkered flag yesterday. trying to do his best in his first stint, Tommy Pintos. And now you get a sense of what this overall gap is and the work that Tommy Pintos has done in the early stages of this race. That's so crucial, because sometimes there's a little bit of a pace difference, isn't there, between one teammate to the next, especially in Pro-Am. Part of the beauty of this formula is you have a pro that can sometimes lead on an AM. The AM can really develop their skills and learn from the pro. But you have to balance that pace-wise too, and that's a challenge.
Exactly. I'm actually wondering if Tommy's just playing this strategically. You know, as we said, he's in a different class to Jeff behind. Jeff is a very quick AM driver, but he is an AM driver. Tommy is one of our GT3 junior drivers, so I'm sure if he wanted to stretch that gap, he probably could put his foot down and move a little further forward. But in doing that, he's going to be taking the best of the tyres and the push to pass, which might leave Spencer at a disadvantage. And as Spencer is the AM, it could be a useful bit of tactical thinking on Tommy's behalf there.
Well, here's a great look at one of the absolute legends in the field, in Johnny O'Connell, in that beautiful white livery number 29 McLaren, doing a heck of a job out there for Flying Lizard Motorsports. 4 Pirelli World Challenge Championships. He's no stranger to success here. Lots of battles developing up and down the grid. Kaya Teo, we mentioned she was on the move early on, 4 spots up there. Great graphic on screen. In the number 3 car, Sobro losing a couple of positions early out. And that father-son duo is right back-to-back now in the 3 and the 49. Here's the 21, though. And we saw him involved, Colin Harrison in Tech Sport Racing, that solo-driven entry, trying to get past Alex Pollard. And boy, these two had a busy race yesterday, didn't they?
They did. I was catching up with Alex on the grid earlier, and he told me a funny anecdote. So he's very new to this car, and he was racing along and saw that in his rearview mirror the flashing lights, and he thought the drivers behind him were trying to get a psychological, out-psych him. And then it was only when he watched back our broadcast yesterday and heard the commentary that he realised it was the push-to-pass lights.
Well, it's a great way, isn't it, for us in the booth to be able to tell. This is a great thing as well. And look at this. Jeff Cook has all but burned the push to pass. He is using everything in the clip right now, but he is closing the gap, and he is reeling in the race leader, Tommy Pintos. Only 55 seconds left to push to pass. He might be emptying that tank completely before he hands over to his teammate, but he's done a nice job of it. He's closed that gap down to just over half of a second over Tommy Pintos. Not an easy task. We know how fast Tommy is. He's had plenty of seat time in this car, championship success in Europe. And look at him reel in the race leader. That number 11 is going to be driving in his mirror soon. Tommy Pintos going a little bit off track, kicking up some dust. What a great view this is on board. You can see the throttle traits, the steering traits, the G-forces that these drivers are dealing with here. And this is the battle that matters most, the battle for the overall lead. 2 class leaders. You don't want to get it wrong. Look at the body language in the car from Tommy Pintos, fighting for traction as he gets on and using what's left of his push to pass. But how much does Jeff Cook have in the tank? How much does he leave for his teammate in that second stint as well?
All interesting questions, and I'm just looking at the time now, so we've got 36 minutes left to go, so the pit stop window will be opening in the next 4 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see who stays out longest. I've got a feeling that Jeff is going to hang it out right to the last minute of that pit stop window before he hands over to Dennis, just so they can extend their lead in the AM class as much as they can. When will Tommy pit? That's going to be an interesting one to see. I think Kevin will also do the same and hang it out as long as he can. But the other thing to bear in mind with the pit stop window is that we do have success seconds to apply. So
yes, we do.
That would be for the winner of yesterday. They get a 7-second success penalty that they have to serve on top of their 60-second stationary. So that is designed just to bring the racing a little bit closer together. Second place has to serve 5 seconds extra, and third place has to serve 3. So we can get into that a little bit more when we get into the pit stops, but that will have an impact on the overall order, and why some of these guys are really pushing to extend the advantage now, because they know they're going to have to give something back later.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get much closer than the battle we were treated to on screen there. Kevin Madsen still has his mirrors full of one of the best in the business, and John Capestro Dubets, that 07, trying to throw every trick in the book at the 53 relapsing Polychondritis Motorsport by Forte Racing driver. Kevin Madsen trying, and succeeding at the moment to hang on to second in the Pro-Am class. This is for class position. We've talked at length about cars that are fighting for track position, maybe not class position, this is absolutely for a class podium. And both of them on it at the moment, but would like to make some more ground there. We check back in with another battle further up the field. This for the overall race lead. Again, both class leaders. You don't want to tussle too much, but Jeff Cook absolutely wants this lead. You could toss a cigarette paper between them. They are so close as we near the beginning of this pit stop window here.
Yeah, we've got to wait for that one to play out. I'm just trying to think how much success penalty we're going to have to serve for these guys. But I was told by Neil Lambo yesterday that Tommy Pintos has now become an ambassador for the Race for RP, Relapsing Polychondritis Foundation. So so it was almost a Race for RP lockout in the front row.
It's a phenomenal effort as well. I think you mentioned the success penalty. One of the reasons Jeff Cook will want to get by is because he will have to stay stationary in pit lane for 2 seconds shorter than Tommy Pintos will, having won the race overall yesterday. So that's a factor that could come into play. Here's John Capestre Dubets, continuing on the back of Kevin Madsen. That gap has lengthened just a little bit. Madsen has gotten on the loud pedal. So we ride on board with the number 7. So glad we have these onboard cameras this year. This is such a great look. It puts you right inside the cockpit with the driver. And look at the push to pass left as well. 96 seconds. That's just about a third of the allocation left, whether he uses that in his stint to try to make up this class position, to solidify second in Pro-Am before handing over to his teammate, or whether he leaves that for the second half of this race where it could be used in a final lap restart. We saw a restart late in the race yesterday, and that proved definitive for the overall result. Here's Patrick Liddy still continuing his defensive efforts with Ollie Webb behind, has not let Ollie pass, and now Patrick's using a little bit of the push to pass, just dipping into the tank as well. Once you use it, it's gone. It does not reset during the course of this session. You get 300 seconds and you have to split that between the two teammates, so whether one gets greedy early on or one needs to use it early on, that's part of the race strategy on top of managing your pace and managing the Pirelli tires under you, because we don't change tires during this pit stop, so you've got to leave a little bit in the tank there as well.
Exactly, yeah. And you know, when we get to the pit stops, we've got different AM drivers coming into the Pro-Am class with different abilities, and I'm just looking, Ollie Webb is running 4th in class at the moment, just behind Patrick Liddy, as we've got them on screen at the moment. Ryan James will take over that car, and Ryan James is a pretty quick AM. He's done hasn't done much racing. He's been actually sort of through the McLaren system, for lack of a better word. He came and did some pure events, and then came and did trophy with us in 2024. Won the 570 title, then moved into an Artura last year in the Pro-Am class, again with Ollie, and won that class with us in Europe. So he's improved quite a lot in the years.
Absolutely, and improved in this race as Kaya Teo, up 4 positions from the start, was ordered to the back of the grid and has done a really nice job of climbing up, sitting solidly third, the third of 3 Pro Class cars that we have right now for Forte Racing. She'll hand over to Paul Holton, one of the fastest drivers, and at least in the first half of this race was the fastest driver on track. But Kaya having a really good little stint at the moment. Still some 12 seconds back from Sam Nesser, but right on the back of Cooper Broll, driving a great little race. Here's the look at the 2 race leaders, at least in their respective classes. Tommy Pintos, who leads overall and in Pro-Am, just behind is Jeff Cook in the number 5. Still giving chase, still just about 0.6 of a second behind. I think they've stayed just that way every time we cut away from them. Great pace management, if that's what it is, in fact, from Tommy Pintos, but good consistency from Jeff Cook as well. Let's remember, Jeff Cook, one of the Papaya Cup members as well. I think it's a nice time to talk about what that championship is and what it offers these drivers too.
Yes, Jeff isn't actually on the Papaya Cup, but his teammate Dennis is. So that's a championship within a championship almost. So it's a way of recognising the AM drivers who are doing this more for a pastime and a hobby. Still quick drivers, but should we say more of the more life experience.
It's a great accolade that comes with a lot of excitement as well. A separate podium too. First taker on a pit lane is the 812 Rafa Racing machine of Michael Steeves.
That's an interesting one, because we've still got a few seconds left on the pit window to open. We only now 20 minutes of the race, so
that might have been just a little bit early of a call, because now it appears pit window has opened, at least for some of the drivers eligible for that based on drive time. See some of the things that take place during the pit stop, though. You're allowed to check the pressure in the Pirelli tires. You may not change them, though. And so we mentioned the strategy that comes into play. How much have you left in the tank? Rafa Racing has pretty much exploded, I think, in the North American racing world as of late across multiple paddocks. SRO is absolutely a benefactor of that, multiple cars and multiple championships, and really glad they've chosen to go racing in McLaren Trophy too. But racing on in the battle on track, you can see the puff of smoke kicked up as Ollie Webb is using all of the racetrack to try to get past Patrick Liddy, but Patrick is putting in a defensive masterclass, has not let through, and all the while, Patrick is reeled in John Capestro-Dubets. He's now under, just right about a second behind that battle for track position as well. We can see out of our commentary booth, the 47 has hit pit lane as well, but all eyes to this battle here. Still third on the road is Kevin Madsen. John Capestro-Dubets wants a chomp at it as well. Cayeteo has ended her stint and brought that car in to switch over to Paul Holton. Really curious to see the charge through the field that Paul Holton will go on and how much push to pass Cayeteo has left him as well. Checking the valve stems and the tire pressures in those Pirellis to make sure there's optimum grip. Door is closed. Those doors just look so good when they go up and down too. It's one of those, even if it is a party trick, it's just a feature of these road cars. That's how they come, and so it makes sense, I would imagine. I'm no designer, but from a design perspective, to keep them. They look great. I like them. I think they looked great as they were lined up all on the grid. I think it's really neat that the drivers have to navigate around getting in and out of that door. It actually looks like it probably gives you a little more room than a normal car would because it swings all the way out of the way. But that's easy to say from up here. I'm not a driver, just a lowly commentator. But either way, here's a move. Patrick Liddy having to try to go defensive on the outside. Does he let the 22 go? Both of them on the push to pass side by side. Ollie Webb able to make the move, but what can Patrick Liddy do? Because now we set up the hill down towards 6 and 6A. We'll have a long run down towards 7 and 7A. Patrick Liddy all over the back of Ollie Webb with the Greystone GT driver gone on the push to pass, and Patrick Liddy trying to hang in the slipstream as well. And now that backs Patrick Liddy up to Sam Nesser behind. Still a little bit of a gap. Again, not for class position, but for overall position on the road. So Patrick is not really losing out, in a sense, in terms of his race results. He still leads in the pro class with Sam Nesser behind, and that's the one he'll be most worried about. But you can see Ollie Webb scamper away, and now he goes in pursuit of John Capestro-Dubets, who is for class position, and already closing that gap just a little bit because JCD is still trying to find a way past Kevin Madsen, and there's that battle now. And now becomes the decisive moment. Do you continue to battle on track? Do you let these drivers fight it out? And look at JCD pushing Madsen around turn 11 as they set up for 12. He is so close, and he's got a great little run. It's really difficult to get brave into turn 1 around Sonoma. That can get dicey pretty quickly, but they are as close as they have been. Look how calm and collected JCD is. Look how smooth those steering inputs are. Rolls off the power. How strong he is on the brakes. He's just closing in on the back of the 53 every time they match that red pedal.
Exactly, and it's good to see that Ollie's got past coming up behind JCD, because he does need to close down the gap. They finished second yesterday, so they've got 2 seconds extra to serve in their pit stop. He needs to close that gap. I think when they do their stop, the AM drivers, Ryan, will probably have the pace of the other 2 to leapfrog, but he needs to give them as much chance as he can of getting as high up the order as possible.
Further afield, we can see Sam Nesser has pit. Looks as well that Broll has made his pit stop as well. He will stay aboard that car in his solo entry. Look at JCD just having to take a little bit of defensive driving as he went really hot into 7. Does that compromise his run out of 7A? Kevin Madsen, I think, was the benefactor there. If you can spread the legs and spread the gap just a little bit, but look at the corner speed for John Capestro-Dubets just closing in there. Some of the artistry of the driver change on full display with one of the fan favorite liveries on the grid, this Lightning McLaren. And there further back is the 100 of Cooper Broll. Got the job done yesterday, just handing the drinks bottle out the window, waiting for a mechanic to drive it, or grab it rather. See, they're busy checking the tire pressures. Cooper Broll sits stationary, just waiting for that pit stop minimum time to finish itself.
So here's a fun story about Cooper Broll. I'm not sure how you do this, but they sponsored a sheep, or adopted a sheep, in the hills behind us, and they've called it Papaya. So there is a sheep watching this race called Papaya.
Well, McLaren fans both in human and sheepish form here in the rolling hills of Sonoma. The sheep, a feature of this racetrack. They keep this beautiful green landscape as green as it is and tend to roll and roam these beautiful bits of grass as well. This battle might be coming to a fore. John Capestro-Dubets is hungry as he has been. all over the back of Kevin Madsen, as we've seen really since the drop of the green flag. JCD has been trying to get past the 53. This is absolutely for class position. He catches a little bit of understeer as he goes down the hill, collects himself. A little bit of dust kicked up from maybe a car that's gone through before, puts him just at a little bit of a disadvantage as we head into the braking zone. Madsen nails the apex of 7. John Capester-Dubetz taking that wider line that we've seen him take throughout the course of this race. Now files back in order. John Capester-Dubetz, ever the veteran, ever the wily fox, trying to sneak one past a very, very wise Kevin Madsen, who has driven a great race so far. More driver changes underway further in pit lane. A healthy amount of the field has taken at least one pit stop. A handful of cars have not. And is this another issue for the second race in a row for the 74? It appears as it is. An issue yesterday hampered their efforts after what was a phenomenal charge. James Lee had just climbed aboard that car, and we know how fast he is. They had a great racing weekend here last year in Sonoma, kicked off their championship campaign with winning ways in tricky rainy conditions. It appears as if that car will go no further. Depending on where he pulled that over, is that going to impact if we go yellow or not? That car is
get moving again.
Maybe just a Control-Alt-Delete. You would love to see that car continue that race. Just a little bit of something maybe flapping around in the rear bodywork. Don't know if that's an indication of damage. JCD goes way wide. And all of a sudden, Ollie Webb will be smelling blood in the water, realizing that these two are only costing themselves time, battling it out. This is for overall position on the road. Madsen in third of anybody, and second in Pro-Am. Capester-Dubetz on the Pro-Am podium as it stands, but Ollie Webb would like a piece of this one. You can see him lurking in that beautiful red and black McLaren. These drivers still have yet to stop. They're continuing to battle that out on track. They want to sort this one out. JCD way, way wide. Is it too wide though? Ollie Webb might have a sniff. He might have a look into 9 when we get down the S's and down that straightaway. The 74 is going, but it is going at anything but race pace. We can see it past our commentary booth, but the action is right here on screen. It is as close as ever. Madsen is scampered away, with JCD making just a little bit of an error. Nails the apex in 9 and 9A. And does this bring Patrick Liddy lurking in the background back into this equation as well?
The gap for the lead seems to have closed just ever so slightly as well, with Jeff Cook and closing up a bit on Tommy Pintos, but we're still half a second there. I reckon they've got one more lap before they pit. So I think we could have a flurry of cars that are all from the top 6 pitting at the end of this lap.
Exactly. Those are 5 cars. The top 5 have yet to come in. We'll see when they bite. We had a great look at Colin Harrison, his solo-driven tech sport entry. A great charge for him. He's on the M-Class podium behind Jeff Cook at the moment. Here's Cook chasing down Tommy Pintos. Tommy Pintos, a lot of pitching sideways as he starts to bleed off the brake pedal. And you can see how much push to pass Tommy is using. I wonder if that's going to come into play later on in this race, when he has to hand the car over to Spencer Schmidt. Patrick Liddy now coming into pit lane. Good eye, Tom. He's switching over to Tanner Harvey. And there's Tanner opening that beautiful scissor door. Liddy comes out. Strong stint from him. Started in the Pro Class lead. Comes into the pits in the Pro Class lead. And he's got a couple cars between them as well. The battle for the Pro Class lead will emerge as Tanner Harvey trying to fend off a inevitably charging Paul Holton, who has already gotten that car and those tires up to temperature. Elsewhile, we can see the 74 continuing just to trundle around. I wonder if that 74 is going to hit pit lane, and if it can do so before the leaders catch him. You can see the Pirellis just bleeding a little bit of pressure out. You are allowed to do that.
Yeah, the pit stop at 60 seconds is designed to be quick enough for you to get everything done, but not so short that you are rushing, and we have drivers going out with seatbelts and things like that not properly done up. So it's a pressured time, but sufficient to do everything you need to do for our pit stops.
Well, our top 2 have bitten. They have come in at the end, the tail end of this pit stop window to make their mandatory driver changes. Tommy Pintos in the 11 will hand over to Spencer Schmidt. Meanwhile, in the 5 car, Dennis Tillman will hop aboard. He's the Papaya Cup driver in that entry. There's nothing between them. Look at him come into pit lane so slow at that minimum 45 miles an hour here at Sonoma Raceway. And here's where the race could get interesting once we apply those success penalties for Jeff Cook and Dennis Tillman. They have to stay stationary for an extra 5 seconds. For Tommy Pintos, and Spencer Schmidt. Schmidt will have to stay stationary for an extra 7 seconds. So that's a 2-second advantage effectively for Tillman and Cook if they play the cards right. But that's the mystery of this whole thing, is you have to get the pit stop dead on to make sure you release exactly when you can without falling afoul of the rules, because you will be penalized for that.
Exactly. But you still got to bear in mind that these are different classes fighting now. So I've got a feeling that actually with Spencer in the car, he will be moving away from Dennis, not to do Dennis any a disservice, but we will see how they go. And obviously Ryan, we've had the other cars in now, so JCD's handing over to Randy Hyland, Kevin Madsen's handing over to Neil Lamberg, and just behind them, Ollie Webb is out of the car and handing over to Ryan James. Who are we now? Oh no, this is the, yep, that's Tommy out and Spencer in.
Tommy Pinto's used a lot of that push to pass, I think, during his stint as well. So curious to see what Schmidt has in store. But job done. Took control of the field, started on pole position, and handed the car off to his teammate in that order. There's that beautiful roar of the engine. The 11 is away behind Kevin Madsen's teammate. In the 53 is away as well. That's Neil Langberg in that RP Motorsports by Forte car. There's the 11, your effective race leader once it's all shuffled out. The 6 cars that had yet to pit now all in. It appears that everyone has made it through cleanly, and some shuffling already. That's the 7 and the 5. And here's where it gets dicey, because the tires are hot, they're warm, you'll have bled a little bit of pressure out, so they're ready to go right out of the box, but the drivers are just completing their first laps. These are often a little bit slower than the racing laps once they get up to temperature, but this battle on the road has resumed right away.
Yeah, exactly. As I said earlier, I think it won't be too long before Ryan has managed to wake his way past Neil and Randy and up into second in class, but will he be able to chase down Spencer? That will be the million-dollar question. Obviously, Ryan's got a good season under his belt of racing this car, whereas Spencer is still relatively new, but he's got track advantage. So
this is now the battle, not only for the overall lead, but for the lead in Pro-Am. 4 Pro-Am cars lead this field. Kevin Madsen had a great stint in defense from pressure behind. It's now Neil Langberg who has the job and the task of chasing down RWE Motorsports' Spencer Schmidt. He and Tommy Pintos are looking to double up on success from yesterday. They've got a healthy gap to do it. 11.4 seconds. That's a tall gap for Neil Langberg, but that's the battle to watch. This, though, might be a little bit closer. Randy Hyland and Ryan James set to do that battle behind, but Dennis Tillman is not too far off that one as well.
I think the one to watch in that battle, in the back of that shot, was Tanner Harvey. He was pretty close behind Dennis, so he is my dark horse for this battle.
Tanner Harvey just starting to close in on this battle as well. And you're right, how quickly does he start to attack Dennis Tillman and the 5 of Jeff Cook? That battle is back to back to back. 19 racing laps completed. It's now a 12.8 second gap for Spencer Schmidt. He has scampered away. Neil Langberg might start to be a little bit of a sitting duck here for Randy Hyland for GMG Racing. They're sitting 3rd, podium hardware, but they'd like it to be a second place trophy, maybe even a first place trophy if they can help it, but second is looking the most tempting at the moment. Certainly the most attainable at the moment. A little bit of a wiggle. It's a body language in the car for Ryan James, and that car that Ollie Webb did such a great job of rifling through the field. And already Tanner Harvey trying to make a move on the 5. Again, not for class position, just for track position, but it does get him a little bit closer to this leading battle, this train of 5 cars. Harvey leaving plenty of racing room. Brave on the inside of turn 6 as they go down the hill. Tricky spot to make a pass, isn't it, when the car is all but unloaded, and a spin. It's the 7, and Randy Hyland goes for a loop, avoids any contact. That's the car that John Capestro Dubets started in, and crucially did not hit anybody in this battle.
He did well, though. He just got a little loose on the exit there, and the rear came round, so he did well to regain control and get back going again, but it has lost him 3 places overall.
Cost him only position and pride. Meanwhile, further up the road, Tanner Harvey has his sights set on Ryan James. Still leading in the pro class, and now getting brave into the chicane, tries the outside. Nothing doing, we'll have to tuck back in, but still hanging right onto the back of the 22. This pro class car is really trying to take it to the Greystone GT driver. They go side by side into 11, and he's trying to not run into the back end of Neil Langberg as well. You mentioned Tanner Harvey might go on a charge. He didn't waste any time at all. Look at him get on the power on the loud pedal as they make the kink of turn 12. Not really much of a turn at all as they set on and straighten the hands. Tanner Harvey is already off in pursuit of cars in front. He goes all the way up to second place on the road in no time at all, and getting in on the action is Ryan James. He wants a piece of the 53 as well, and it looks like Dennis Thielman is going to go with him. Is that maybe a problem for the 53? Neil Langberg seems just a little bit off the pace, but either way, Tanner Harvey has gone through, Neil Langberg has gone through, Ryan James has gone right along with him.
No, I don't think that's a problem for Neil. I think it's just Neil showing them some racing room and letting them do their race without getting too much in their way.
Good respectful racing then from the RP by Forte driver Neil Langberg, making the sporting choice. Ryan James now showing on screen plenty of action in just the last couple of laps, Tom. I don't even know where to start, but we're going to get another look at it here on our screens. And this is the battle that resulted in a spin for Randy Highland. Look at him go all the way out on the curbs, and everyone going into driver's left, and that started to open the door for Tanner Harvey. Running on board now, and you can see how hairy that got, but everyone getting right back to the racing line. Again, credit where credit's due to Randy Highland for not impacting anyone else's race, but that did start to shuffle the order and open the door for Tanner Harvey to start to come through. Carved his way over 2, 3, 4 positions, climbed his way up into second on the road, and crucially, that gives him a buffer back to Paul Holton. Haven't talked to him about him in a moment, but he is 7.2 seconds off of Tanner Harvey as it stands. There he is now in the number 8 car, Kaya Teo, doing a great job of charging up the field. Look at where that car started, and look at where that car is now. Kaya Teo has a lot to do with that, and now Paul Holton, one of the most capable McLaren drivers on the grid. He's had factory status in the past with this brand. He's driven a lot of McLarens throughout his day. It seems very, very comfortable in this Artura Evo. He's setting his sights on Dennis Thielman ahead to try to get a little bit closer to Tanner Harvey towards the last couple of minutes of this race. And look at how close he's closed this gap already. Thielman doing a good job of getting out of the way, not for class position. Thielman in the M class, Paul Holton, one of the pro class competitors. Just closing that gap. He's already cut 2 seconds out of Tanner Harvey's class lead. My goodness.
Shaping up to be an interesting one. I was talking to Paul on the way in, actually, and he hasn't, I assumed he'd done a lot of racing here. The last time he raced here was about 10 years ago.
No kidding. Well, you wouldn't know it by his performances this weekend. He has been so quick right from the get-go, but we'll continue to watch that gap. It's now down to 4.9 seconds. My goodness. Taking a huge chunk of lap time out every single lap. We might not even have to wait till the final laps for this battle to heat up, because the next car in front of him is Ryan James, and that would be for 3rd overall. And then Tanner Harvey really starts to have to worry. But a big pace differential at the moment. Tanner Harvey driving a really good race and did exactly what he needed to do in the opening stint and getting past a couple of cars that were in his way. And now he's gonna hope that Ryan James uses every bit of grip in those Pirelli tires for that Greystone GT McLaren to hold up Paul Holton as long as he can. Paul flashing the headlights and having to tuck back in because Ryan James is a little bit later on the brakes. Tanner Harvey will be saying thank you very much. Kaya Teo is absolutely enjoying the show that her teammate has put on, and I think she should be smiling after what was a really strong first stint from her. Holton now on the attack. Not a typical place where you would make a move, a very high commitment area of the racetrack. You go uphill, it's blind, you take a little bit of curve. Paul right on the racing line, ducks underneath now. And does he get better drive off the corner? Yes, he does. Dips downhill ever slightly and then right back up towards the highest section of this circuit, turn 3A. Before you make the direction change for 4, you come right back down the hill for 5.
I'm just looking at the times here, and Spencer's having a great run in P1. He's just running his own race. He was a second faster than Tanner in the first sector, which on the last lap, which is some pretty impressive running. And he's managed to stretch that lead to 27 seconds now. And I think it was about 11 seconds when they pitted, so he's done a very good job. Yeah,
well done. Tommy Pintos with one heck of a wheelman as a teammate. Tommy did a great job in his stint. Spencer did a great job in his now. We ride on board with the 8, though, and Paul Holton, you can see just in the corner of the windscreen. Tanner Harvey ahead. He's the next target. This is the battle for the Pro Class lead. And look at the circuit performance graphic here. You can see Race Vision powered by AWS and where each of the cars our focus. Nobody dominant over the course of the lap. It's the 5 car that's fastest in the 2nd sector. The 8 car you're riding on board with now, Paul Holton, fastest in sector 3 in that tight, twisty section. It's your race leader in Spencer Schmidt. That 11 car is fastest in that section of the racetrack. Part of what makes it so difficult to reel somebody in is just how even these cars are. It goes a little bit wide, reels it back in to make that double apex turn 11. Hear the squeal of the Pirelli tires is indication of how hard Paul Holton is pushing here with under 10 minutes to go, Tom.
Yeah, just keeping an eye out the window to see if there's any battles brewing further down the line. Neil Lamberg just lost out then to Fabio Greco coming into the chicane. Fabio's having a good weekend, a solid performance in his first racing experience in the McLaren Trophy Americas.
That he is. What was initially a 12-second gap is now a 2-second gap, Tom. Remarkable stint from this green car from Paul Holton. Forte Racing has got an ace up their sleeve, and it's going to be Forte on Forte. This is going to be spicy. This is first in pro, 2nd and 3rd on the row overall.
Sector 1, 1.4 seconds faster for Paul.
My goodness
That's
gracious.
impressive going.
We mentioned this might come in the last couple of laps. We're going to have 8.5 minutes, 8 minutes and 50 seconds, in fact. The better part of 9 minutes to decide this one, and Paul Holton is already shoving Tanner Harvey through the first part of the S's. Harvey on the push to pass to try to stretch the legs just a little bit. Got himself a little bit of a gap, and that can be crucial to try to get just enough car lengths between the two of you before you hit the brakes into turn 9 and 9A. Paul Holton being a little bit patient, going wide into 9 over the curbs. That's the fastest way around this track, and look at him laying down some rear Pirelli tire rubber. That's a lot of power in these cars, isn't it? Especially when you get on the push to pass. It can be so difficult to keep the wheels pointed straight, especially when you're trying to battle for position. There's the black gloves of Paul Holton coming up as he puts the steering lock on, takes the steering lock back off, straightens the wheel, mashes the loud pedal, sets off in pursuit of the blue Forte car in front. Remember, you don't want to hit the man under your own tent. Paul Holton on a charge, has to lift just a little bit as they go up the hill. Will fall back into order. A wiggle from Harvey, a shuffle from Holton. Holton now ducks the nose to the inside. He's made a move here earlier in the lap. Harvey covers it well, but who gets back to the racing line first? Tanner Harvey chops the nose off. The 8 car has to give way. Tanner Harvey driving well in defense. It's hard, but it's fair. This is exactly what you like to see, Tom.
Exactly, yeah, no, he did well. There was a sniff of a move there, and he showed his nose, but backed out, thankfully, and so we haven't had any issue there. But now he's caught, Tanner. Obviously, his pace has slowed a bit while he's trying to get past, so he was setting some seriously impressive lap times. And I was wondering, if he gets past, can he go for the lead overall? But I don't think he's going to have enough time to do that.
With his pace, it might have been in the conversation, but 7 minutes to go. His sights are set on solidifying himself as the pro class leader. Either way, both of these drivers will end up on the podium. Look at the wide line from Holton out of 7A. Looks like a deficit on the exit, but turns into an advantage. What a run he has through the S's. Can't really go side by side there, but he might have a chance as they hit the brakes into turn 9, going all the way wide. Now dicking the nose in to the inside of turn 9. Gets back to the racing line. Tanner Harvey covers that one off well. Paul Holton will have to wait for another lap, but look at the line variation. Look at the race progression over the course of the 60 minutes, and look how far back in the field this Forte car, the number 8, has come. Kaya Teo climbed 4 or 5 positions early on in the race, doing a great first stint. Paul Holton climbed aboard after the pit stop and rocketed to the 4 into the 3rd position overall. Tanner Harvey getting a little bit of coaching from his teammate Patrick Liddy, looking right across at their main rivals, and Kaya Teo, who might be delivering some feedback and notes and encouragement to Paul Holton behind. Paul Holton ducking the nose now to the outside, tries for the switch back on the inside. It doesn't matter where you are on the circuit. Paul is trying to make a move one way or another. The Forte driver, as he did the lap before, able to close the door just a little bit in this technical section of the racetrack. Down the hill they go. Paul, ever the veteran, still trying to make a move, but he's being patient. He's not doing anything rash, and most importantly, he's keeping this racing respectful. He
is, and I think Tanner's doing a good job of driving defensively there. He's not being aggressive. He's just putting the car where it needs to be to defend his place. Now I've said that, here we go.
Absolutely, here it is, the move for the lead in pro. They're going to go side by side. Tanner Harvey has the favorable line, but Paul Holton has gone wide. He's hanging it on the outside, now near the rear quarter fender. Tanner Harvey, a beautiful defensive line inside. Patrick Liddy will be smiling at that one. Great coaching, great delivery, great performance from Tanner Harvey to hold off hard-charging Paul Holton. Kaya Teo eager watching this battle with some nervousness, as are we all. We are all on the edge of our seats leaning forward. I don't think you and I, Tom, could be any closer to the monitor. We're going to be inside it. Tanner Harvey doing a great job in the 24 car. Again, Forte on Forte. This is for second and third on the road overall, first and second in the pro class. Paul Holton might have another opportunity here in the final corner of the racetrack. On the flashers, trying to get Tanner Harvey out of the way. Harvey, a shallower line into turn 11. This is such a hard thing to do as a racing driver, isn't it? To be in a position where you're driving in your mirrors, you have a remarkably fast car behind you, 4.5 minutes to go. If Tanner Harvey survives this one, he will deserve some celebrations tonight, because Paul Holton is the fastest man on track by some pace. Actually, it's Dennis Thielman who has the best lap of the race so far, a 1:38.1, but you wouldn't know it by Paul Holton's pace. Holton through a section of the track you wouldn't normally push, trying and shoving the Forte driver through the corner. Kayateo can't believe it, a sigh of relief and shaking her head. I think she's just as in disbelief as we are.
Yeah, interestingly, there's another car gaining them, which is another Forte run car. That's Cooper Broll, who's leading the AM class. He's been gaining quite a lot with these two battling. So he was 6/10 faster in Sector 1, 9/10 faster in Sector 2. So he's managed to reel him in.
A great point, Tom. He's now just 2 seconds off the lead of that battle, off the back of that battle, I should say, and you could see him in that papaya machine just behind. So 3 Forte cars in the shot. Paul Holton trying to go the long way around, ducks back. Does he complete the switch over? He might just be a little bit too far back, a rear puff of Pirelli tire smoke as he has to give way. Patrick Liddy is smiling and giggling at the performance his teammate is putting in. This is a stout one. Tanner Harvey should be very proud of this effort. I think Patrick will be as well, but Paul Holton on the charge, tried the outside through the exit of the S's. A little bit too far back to make a move, but Harvey's gone long. Harvey has gone through the grass, slides, and Paul Holton goes through. Does Cooper Broll capitalize now? Paul Holton waiting patiently, throw everything in the book at him, and Cooper Broll now brave on the outside. Does he dive back to the inside? No, still got 3 minutes to make a move, but Tanner Harvey might have given up the pro class lead, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. What a defensive effort. I think he should be very proud of that one.
Absolutely, that was a brilliant effort. Huge pressure for a number of laps there from Paul. He'll have a bit of dust and dirt on his tyre that he'll have to just get tidied up, but no, fantastic effort, and I think he can be rightly proud of what he's done today.
Still solidly on the podium in second, but he's trying to hold third on the road because Cooper Broll firmly in command of the AM class at the moment in that number 100 Forte car. Once again, Forte teammate on Forte teammate. 3 of the 4 cars that Forte have brought locked in this battle. We saw the other one, the relapsing polychondritis motorsport car by Forte, a factor in the first stages of this race with Kevin Madsen behind the wheel, but Cooper Broll has his sights set on the 24. He would like that position. May not be for class position, but if you're a racing driver, you want to get as far up the field as you can, can't you?
That would be for 3rd overall, and that's a nice number. So.
Tanner Harvey defensively using the flash to pass and the push to pass. It's called push to pass, but it's just as equally push to defend, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's intended as a strategic tool, so yeah, use it how you want.
Curious to see how much each of these drivers have left in the tank. Spencer Schmidt, a healthy lead, 30 seconds and some change. Tanner Harvey is now 3.5, now 4.5 seconds back from Paul Holton after going long. Paul Holton up 12 positions from where that car started. Again, both teammates pulling their weight there, but this is the battle we've been focusing on. Tanner Harvey, he had to go defensive with Paul Holton. He's going to have to do it again. Cooper Broll is right on his heels. Look at Cooper on the preferable racing line. As turn 11 tightens up, though, you take both apices. And Tanner Harvey trying to get back on the loud pedal as quick as possible. Gets a good launch, but Cooper's coming.
Now Paul has been unleashed. 4 seconds faster on that lap than Spencer.
Unbelievable. That gap was 30 seconds, and it's cut now down to 27.5. Unbelievable. Give us 5 more minutes, Paul Holton can win this race, but we are working in the confines with which we are given. Cooper Broll now has been aboard the number 100 Forte machine for the entirety of this race. He's gotten to see the progression of how this race car behaves from start to finish, and he's got the blue Forte car, his stablemate, in his sights. Still leading in AM. It's Thielman, the next car back, but he's 21.5 seconds back, so barring a major error for Cooper Broll, he will keep this AM class lead and double up on the weekend as well. Harvey, before the wheel is even straight, on the push to pass. Further back, another battle developing. This is the 7 car of Randy Hyland that spun earlier, just getting out of the way sportingly of Spencer Schmidt.
So we've got 16 seconds left on the clock. Are we going to have a checkered flag, or are we going to have one more lap?
Just depends on how quickly Spencer gets to the start-finish line. I can see the starter just below our broadcast monitor. Getting on the loud pedal now, it's going to be really, really close. Time expires. It is the checkered flag waving over Sonoma Raceway. Spencer Schmidt and Tommy Pintos sweep the weekend in Northern California. RWE Motorsport triumphant in the first 2 rounds of McLaren Trophy. They win in their Pro-Am class cars overall. Further back, it's Paul Holton who will take second, and he will win in the Pro class. Hugs for Kaya Teo, who did a great job. High fives for Patrick Liddy and Tanner Harvey, who did a great job as well. He will finish 3rd on the road, 2nd in Pro. Cooper Brull will solidify himself as the AM class winner for the 2nd race in a row. Oh, now we can take a break. What an action-packed race McLaren Trophy America delivered us here. It was a great race 1. It was an entirely green race 2, and I think we reaped the benefits of that.
Brilliant race, really, really good to watch. And just going through the order, Dennis Tierman, I think, did a fantastic job. He finished 3rd in the AM class, but 1st in the Pro-Am, in the Papaya Cup, so that's a great result for him. Philip Ploskus in 2nd in Papaya Cup there in the AM class, and we got 49th. Steve Sabero 3rd, so that's a great result for him. There'll be some happy customers. And then in the Pro-Am Papaya Cup, we've got Randy Harden as a win and Neil Lamberg 2nd, so a happy paddock.
I think so indeed. Tom, thanks so much as always. It's a pleasure having your insights and joining me in the booth for both of these races this weekend. Looking forward to sharing the rest of the season with you as well. It's going to be all smiles for Tommy Pintos and Spencer Schmidt, who double up on the weekend and did a phenomenal job of it as well. They will be supremely pleased with their performances here. And in the context of the overall championship as well, this bodes well for them. You can see the thumbs up to some of the fans in attendance as well. A victory lap well earned for Spencer Schmidt. A great opening stint for Tommy Pintos. A great 2nd and closing stint for his teammate in Spencer Schmidt. RWE, your Pro Class champions a year ago with the 74 car, suffered some woes, listed as not running. James Lean at the end. Diving into pit lane, Spencer Schmidt, though, now finally just able to undo the radio. I think maybe possibly some gamesmanship for Spencer Schmidt, knowing that he had a healthy lead, was able to back off the pace just a little bit to time it where he would get the checkered flag as early as possible. Whether he had done that and that was the case, or he would have gone another lap, I don't know that the overall result would have changed. It was a dominant 2nd stint, a really commanding 1st stint for Tommy Pintos and Spencer Schmidt. They win not only in the Pro-Am class, but overall. Your Pro class victors, a hard-earned charge through the field. Hats off to you, Kaya Teo, a great opening stint, and absolutely hats off to Paul Holton, who charged monstrously through the field, had a great battle with Tanner Harvey, who should be very, very proud with a 2nd place finish. They double up on the podium after he and Patrick Liddy won in the Pro class yesterday. Patrick with a great opening stint. Cooper Brull, solo in this effort this year, but solidifying himself as the AM class favorite so far for Forte Racing. Forte, what a day. 3 cars of the 4 they've brought inside the top 5. Greystone GT's Ollie Webb had some great pace early on. His teammate Ryan James had a good stint as well. They're 2nd in Pro-Am. Fabio Greco for OMS is 6th, and they're 2nd in AM. GMG Racing's Dennis Tillman and Jeff Cook 3rd in the AM class as well. Johnny O for Flying Lizard is 10th. Colin Harrison's Tech Sport, good pace. They settle for 21st. Some woes for the RWE, Sam Nesser and James Lee. Some early pace, but late disaster. Sonoma will be a weekend for them to forget, but certainly not for their teammates, the sister car, who won overall and in the Pro-Am class. All smiles as well for Paul Holton, and what a job that he did, and what a helmet design as well. That looks absolutely phenomenal. He'll be all smiles. An incredible charge through the field, a great stint set up by his teammate. And Forte Racing, after a largely expanded effort, from 2 cars on the grid last year to 4 cars, a maximum investment across the grid in multiple different classes in McLaren Trophy America, and they're reaping the benefits of that as well. They have not come to mess around. They've brought some serious driving talent. They have brought some serious mechanics. They've onboarded new people. This is a really large effort. It's paying off for them in the first racing weekend of the year. But championship-wise, Tommy Pintos and Spencer Schmidt doing a great job to make sure that they are the favorites when we go to the Circuit of the Americas in the next round of the season. As the rest of this racing program progresses, McLaren Trophy America will visit Miami. Some really exciting areas on the calendar up and down the order. Championship or first place hats going on. little bit of Saratoga water to cool them off as well. It's a beautiful day here in sunny Northern California. Cooper Brohl getting some hugs as well. Third member of our broadcast team in Amanda Busick. She's down with some of the victors in Victory Lane.
It's always hard to get winners to stand still down here as they're walking around looking for their teams, but man, this might be a day. I don't want to say that it ranks probably at just a masterful day for you guys, but how will you reflect on what today's victory looked like?
You know, it's more than just today's victory. This has been multiple years with Kaya and Alan now, and through with the McLaren brand, so they've gotten to grow with this brand, and now we're here in McLaren Trophy, and we're on the top step of the podium after a great day yesterday. So I can't ask for any more. Kaya drove her absolute heart out, did everything she needed to do to put us in the position to win. So here she is.
Kaya, let's talk about your day as well. What a masterful job for you as well. How will you reflect on what this win was for you and the performance that you were able to pull through?
Yeah, first weekend of McLaren Trophy, so we're so excited to be able to pull this off. It was a great job by Paul, all about keeping it clean at the start and kind of, oh, thank you, and getting the car to him, and then he killed it. So just so excited about this weekend and more to come.
Congratulations. And it was back-to-back overall winners for Tommy Pintos and for Spencer Schmidt, and what an opening weekend it was. I would say that you guys have made a name for yourself in this championship. You got to break it down today. How will this weekend set you up for the season?
I don't know. I mean, I got a call a week ago, so 2 weeks ago I had no idea I'd be here and that this would be happening, and we showed up and showed out. Tommy's the man. He taught me everything. First time in the car was Thursday, so we've learned a lot from them, and we'll see what we can do for the rest of the season. We'll figure it out.
Tommy, you have a lot of experience in this package. How impressive is that to get here on Thursday and to see this performance?
Amazing. Like, if you tell me 2 weeks ago exactly the same that this is gonna be like just a 3-second fast forward to show me that's how the weekend gonna be, I wouldn't believe it. It's amazing. Great job from Spencer. He's a good listener, get everything, and he has the pace, he has the rhythm. So it's been amazing weekend.
We're about to get ready for podium celebrations down here, and what I love absolutely today on this Sunday in Sonoma are all the fans that are hanging out for this podium celebration to spray some champagne. And I can't get you to stand still either. This has been an incredible weekend for you, Cooper. You were hopping up and down out of that McLaren yesterday. What brought on the breakout this weekend?
I honestly think this team has been so capable, and alongside all of these teammates who've been able to create this incredible car and setup, and just such a capable crew, I think has been able to make this all happen.
Congratulations, it's wonderful to watch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda. So great to hear from some of our victors down in Victory Lane. I agree, Kaya Teo should be absolutely thrilled with the performance that she and teammate Paul Holton pulled in. Kaya Teo rolled off the grid at 14th, was ordered to the back of the grid. They ended up second. Unbelievable effort for the two of them. Forte Racing and Spencer at the head of that program should be absolutely thrilled. We mentioned Spencer Schmidt, and what a great performance he put in today as well. Let's take a look at how race 2 in Sonoma unfolded. All smiles for those on the grid. Patrick Liddy started on the pro class pole. Green flag waved. It was the number 11 that was the car to beat. Tommy Pintos with a great opening stint on the push to pass early as they rounded up the hill. This beautiful undulating circuit. Great battles early on for Dennis Tillman and Kevin Madsen in his car. Patrick Liddy having his hands full as well with Ollie Webb and some of the pace that Greystone GT driver had. When they came to the round of pit stops, Spencer Schmidt proved to be just as formidable as his teammate in Tommy Pintos, getting the call, as he said, just a week ago. Still no branding even on the racing suit for the Las Vegas and Los Angeles native, who spends some of his time stunt driving, racing in various championships as well. Late drama for Tanner Harvey, as he was full of pressure from Paul Holton, who made his way to the fore. All smiles for him and teammate Kaya Teo, but it was a perfect day for Tommy Pintos and Spencer Schmidt. They win the weekend in Sonoma in perfect fashion. And what a fantastic racing weekend it was here. 2 action-packed races. This one ran entirely green from start to finish. And in the first couple of rounds of the championship, I wouldn't be any happier than RWE Motorsports. For the 74 car, not quite the weekend they would have wanted, but still in the pro class. Taking home 20 points puts them third in the overall standings. Kaya Teo and Paul Holton immediately in the championship conversation as well. And in the pro class, it's Patrick Liddy and Tanner Harvey. A great position and a great weekend for them. Sees them tied going into the second races of the season, rounds 3 and 4 that we'll see in a couple weeks' time. Great performances all around, but it's Forte Racing to the fore with RWE giving chase. Beautiful Sonoma Raceway provided action in the Pro-Am class as well. Tommy Pintos and Spencer Schmidt solidly in command of the Pro-Am standings there, 30 points over Ryan James and Ollie Webb for Greystone GT, but not too far back, JCD and Highland as well. JCD put in a really good first stint in the number 7 car. Some late dramas for Highland late on, but did a good job to keep that car on the black stuff and continue his effort. They're still in the championship hunt as well. You talk about the AM class, and it's Cooper Broll who leads the standings commandingly over Jeff Cook and Dennis Tiemann. Cook had an early first half of the race that was full of drama and battles, but Cooper Broll commanded the field, never really looked out of sorts. It's Fabio Greco and his solo-driven OMS machine that's on 20 points, puts him third in the standings. Scott Sobro not too far behind in fourth. Well, that's how the table has been set. McLaren Trophy America will be back with you in a couple weekends, but thanks so much for joining us here in Sonoma Raceway.